Afternoon, everyone. Donald Trump and House Republicans spent all of last year promising to lower the high cost of living in the United States of America. In fact, Donald Trump said that costs were going to go down in America on day one. But costs haven't gone down. They've gone up. Inflation is on the way up. Donald Trump and House Republicans, who have been nothing more than a rubber stamp for Donald Trump's extreme agenda, are crashing the economy and driving us toward a recession. What piece of legislation do they decide to work on as their signature priority in this Congress? Is it legislation to make life more affordable? No. Is it legislation to lower the cost of housing in the United States of America? No. Is it legislation that actually enhances the ability for everyday Americans to provide child care or afford groceries in this country? No. House Republicans are trying to jam another GOP tax scam down the throats of the American people, where the overwhelming majority of the benefits will go to the wealthiest 1% in the United States of America, and they want to pay for it by sticking us with additional debt, trillions of dollars of additional debt, and by enacting the largest health care cut in American history, along with the largest cut to food assistance in American history, literally taking food out of the mouths of children, veterans, and seniors in this country. It's shameful. The American people do not support this extreme and toxic bill, and we're going to hold every single House Republican who votes for it accountable. Questions?
Mr. Leader, good afternoon. What would you, your statement the other day after there was this incident in Newark, you said they better not touch our members.
Correct.
What happens if they were to go and arrest these members, or if they would try to sanction them here in the House of Representatives?
They'll find out.
What would you do?
They'll find out.
Of course. I mean, but doesn't that broach a?
They'll find out.
Doesn't that go across?
That's a red line.
What's the red line, though? I mean, I know we have this.
It's a red line. It's very clear. First of all, I think that the so-called Homeland Security spokesperson is a joke. It's a joke. They know better than to go down that road, and it's been made loudly and abundantly clear to the Trump administration. We're not going to be intimidated by their tactics to try to force principled opposition from not standing up to their extremism. It hasn't happened during the entirety of this failed term. It didn't happen when Donald Trump temporarily was sitting high in the immediate aftermath of the election. Do you think it's going to happen now, when he's the most unpopular president in American history after his first 100 days? Give me a break. No one's intimidated by this dude. No one. And so there are clear lines that they just dare not cross.
Speaking of red lines, Mr. Leader, were you informed that the White House intended to fire Dr. Hayden,
No.
head of the Library of Congress?
No.
Is there anything you can do to reverse it, to discuss it?
We're looking into it, but of course, the problem that we confront right now in this Congress is that House Republicans and Senate Republicans are nothing more than a compliant rubber stamp for Donald Trump's extreme agenda. They're not a check and balance. They're not working for the American people. They're actually working for an out-of-control executive branch. Now, it's the Library of Congress, not the Library of the executive branch. So clearly, there's going to have to be some reforms at this particular point in time, moving forward. The president probably violated the law. What cause did he have to fire Dr. Hayden? There's no cause. It's all made-up foolishness. And so we're certainly going to look into that, and litigation will be evaluated strongly. But moving forward, I think what's clear is that perhaps the executive branch should be removed from the process once a librarian of Congress has been designated, if you're going to have an out-of-control executive who's going to abuse the authority that he, in this instance, has been given by the United States Congress.
Thank you.
The vice chair of the DNC, David Hogg, he said today, quote, "Too many leaders in the Democratic Party are asleep at the wheel." You're obviously a leader in the Democratic Party.
Did he mention me by name?
He did not, but you are
Okay.
the leader.
Okay.
Are Democrats asleep at the wheel? Does he have a point, and should he stay in his role?
I think I've been very clear about my perspective on David Hogg and how I'm going to defend every single member of the United States House of Representatives in the Democratic caucus.
Mr. Leader, on a similar vein of standing up for Congress's authority, what are you trying to do, if anything, about the Qatari plane? And, what steps are you taking to assert Congress's authority over this, and when it comes to the Library of Congress?
Well,
What can
Congressman
you do?
Jamie Raskin has been very clear on this issue as it relates to the Constitution. A $400 million flying palace is an unconstitutional gift to this president or any president if it is not explicitly approved by the United States House of Representatives and the United States Senate. That's what the Constitution explicitly makes clear. There's no way around it as far as we're concerned. And so the president presumably is going to take that next step and seek congressional authority, which I believe we will clearly and decisively reject. It's an embarrassment. Literally, millions of people in this country are struggling to live paycheck to paycheck. Can't afford housing, can't afford groceries, can't afford to pay their utility bills, can't afford child care, can't afford insurance. And Donald Trump is publicly defending, accepting a $400 million flying palace from a close ally of Iran and Hamas? I mean, you can't make this stuff up, which is why even some of his closest MAGA sycophants have made clear this is a plane too far for them. Too far for them.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Speaking of planes, did you fly out of Newark this week? And I wanted to see if you support Secretary Duffy's proposed fixes to the air traffic control system.
I flew out of LaGuardia this week. I look forward to having a conversation with Rick Larson, the top Democrat on the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. I have great confidence in him and his leadership to get his assessment on Secretary Duffy's recommendation.
Are you open to a major overhaul of air traffic control technology?
I think we need to make sure that our air traffic control system and technology is top-notch and first-rate. And to the extent that there are aging parts of the system, it definitively needs to be corrected. We also need an administration that should stop trying to undermine aviation safety in the United States of America, which is what they've been doing, perhaps at the behest of one of their lackeys, Elon Musk, from the very beginning of this administration. Thanks.
On
You got it.
Library of Congress, there's this dispute where Trump has appointed A.G. Blanche. Library of Congress staff turned away those DOJ appointees yesterday, and Robert Newland is still addressing himself as the acting director. Who in this moment is leading the Library of Congress? As far as you're concerned, and will congressional Democrats be offering guidance or weighing in?
As far as I'm concerned, it's not this Robert Newland character or whatever his name is. I've never heard of him. And listen, at the end of the day, it's the Library of Congress. And so this is another example of executive overreach. And, you know, it'll be challenged in court in all likelihood. And hopefully some of my Republican colleagues will actually stand up, show a backbone as it relates to their own authority. Stop being punked by Donald Trump. I don't understand it. Congress is a separate and co-equal branch of government. They already are doing great damage to themselves by trying to jam this extreme GOP tax scam down the throats of the American people. That's not enough for them in terms of their sycophantic behavior. They literally are signing their own political death warrants in terms of the 2026 election. They should be doing what's in the best interest of the American people, not trying to visit upon everyday Americans the largest cut to health care in American history, devastating cuts to Medicaid, and at the same time undermining the Affordable Care Act. Y'all didn't learn your lesson? How'd that work out for you in 2017 and 2018?
There's a number of different revelations coming out about President Joe Biden's decline with recent books. Is it helpful for your caucus for these to come out now? And would you want Biden to campaign for House Democrats?
We're not looking backward, we're looking forward at this particular moment in time.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Richie Neal, Frank Pallone, and Andrew Craig may not be the most visible members of the caucus, but today they're going to be center stage as Republicans mark up the bill to, as you say, give tax breaks to the wealthy, take people off their health care, and take SNAP benefits away from Americans. What should Americans know about these three members and why they should trust their leadership the way that you and many of the members of your caucus do?
I have great confidence in Richie Neal, great confidence in Frank Pallone, and great confidence in Angie Craig. They have been leading the charge along with all of the distinguished members of those three committees, which really do represent and capture the gorgeous mosaic of the caucus and the gorgeous mosaic of the American people in every possible way in terms of diversity. That includes ideological, racial diversity, gender diversity, age diversity, and life experience diversity. All three of these committees ably and incredibly led by Richie Neal, Frank Pallone, and Angie Craig. I think the American people will be impressed by what they see. We all are unified in trying to stop these extreme MAGA Republicans from jamming another GOP tax scam that benefits the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected, and takes health care away from the American people down our throats. It is an egregious and outrageous bill, and it runs directly contrary to the central Republican promise that was made in 2024, which is that they were going to fix the economy and lower the high cost of living. They've done neither. They are blowing up the economy in real time and raising costs. And they're going to be held accountable for the mess that they are creating.
Thank you, Leader. House Republicans have justified some of their spending cuts in the name of aiming to try and put the nation in better fiscal footing. Do you believe that we have a spending problem, and how would House Democrats go about this differently to address that?
That will be explained throughout the various committee hearings that are going to take place throughout today, tonight, and into tomorrow. But the notion that Republicans are fiscally responsible is laughable. They have repeatedly inherited an improved fiscal situation, or in some cases, a budget surplus, as occurred during Bill Clinton's presidency, and an improved fiscal situation relative to a reduction of the deficit, $1 trillion reduction that Donald Trump inherited from Barack Obama, and then proceeded to blow up the debt and the deficit, just like George W. Bush did, just like Reagan did, and now Republicans are doing it again. We are not going to be lectured about fiscal responsibility by a bunch of people who have repeatedly spent the taxpayer dollars like drunken sailors in order to give their billionaire MAGA donors like Elon Musk, in this particular instance, a tax cut. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.